is Ron McKenzie. The title of his speech is Symbols, Ron McKenzie.
When I was growing up, my friends and I, we had a customary greeting. We would give a fist bump, but it wasn't the kind of fist bump you're used to. We would punch hard. And I thought it was just a thing that my friends did. Well, I didn't see it for the next 4 or 5 years as I go through university. I didn't see it from anyone else. But when I started teaching up in Ajax, after a couple months, a student held his fist up. And I'm like, oh, you guys do this greeting too. So I cracked him. And he was like, what on earth is going on here? And a few other students would do the same to me. And they all thought it was hilarious. It took me a bit to figure out that, oh, the symbol that we use isn't the symbol that you use. It's now just a casual, barely touch your fists. As a, hey, you're cool, or whatever it means. I don't know what it means. But I do know that you don't own your symbols. You have a symbol and you share it between people, but I don't get to determine what you think about the symbol. Even the rich and famous are not immune to this. Back in the early 20s, there was a famous comedian, Charlie Chaplin, and he had a very peculiar mustache. It only grew in the middle, shaved the sides. And you might recognize this mustache. Another not so nice person had the same mustache years later. And as you know, no one calls it the Charlie Chaplin mustache. They call it the Hitler stash. Well, in 2010, Michael Jordan, at the height of his hubris, thought, I'm going to revitalize the Charlie Chaplin. And so he had that mustache. He didn't have it for very long, because he recognized that fundamental truth, that you don't own your symbols. He wasn't powerful enough to revitalize the Charlie Chaplin mustache. Hitler was so evil that he infected it. You can't wear that mustache and not get the comparison. The symbol I struggle with most are hugs. Growing up, my mom was French, my dad was Scottish, ergo, we always hugged. Whenever we went to any kind of family gathering, we hugged everyone as we came in, hugged everyone as we left. And with the guys, it's always full body hug, both arms. The girls, full body with a kiss. I realized much later that hugs are different to different people. A hug is a symbol. What it meant to us growing up was, you are valued, you are respected, I appreciate you. And that's the way I still mostly see hugs. But I recognize, especially as a teacher, that that's not a universal symbol. Now you might think, well, there's an easy answer. Just don't hug anyone. It's an easy answer, but it's not a good answer. Because that message of you are valued, you are welcome, you are respected is an important message and worth sharing when possible. So the danger is, I have to figure out with every person I know how they value this symbol. Not only this singular thing of a hug, but do you see a hug as something where you have both arms over in support? Is it a one-sided hug? Is it this A-frame where you barely touch, and that's what you feel is a good hug? And I've made mistakes either way. I've hugged people and felt afterwards like, oh, you felt that was weird. And I've not hugged people and felt afterwards, oh, I sent a message that we're not as close. And the truth was, the message I was sending is, I'm cautious because I hugged someone and it got weird, And so I got cautious with someone else, and they heard that, oh, because I haven't seen you in a year, we're now no longer close. And I've had people where I offer my hand, and they're like, are you crazy? And they go in for the hug. I've heard that Disney has a rule about hugs. So they have all these characters, these Disney characters, and children don't see a person in a suit. They see the character. And so the rule at Disney is, if a child hugs you, you don't let go of the hug until the child lets go. With children, it's pretty simple. But in our own lives, we have to take symbols seriously. Now, for me, hugs is a personal mission, but other symbols too. Many people are active online, and we tend to do things like put symbols on our profiles and our bios. I don't do that. I don't do that because I know I'm not in control of that symbol. If I put a flag or a symbol, I don't know how you see that. I know how I see it, and that's all I can control. But social media is just too wild for me to just post symbols and hope, imagine, without context, that you're going to see it the same way I do. You're going to see it as that I'm expressing a symbol of love and support. You might see it in support of hatred. I don't know that. And so I encourage you to examine the symbols you use in your lives and ask yourself, do I know how people are interpreting these symbols? Because the fundamental truth is, you do not own your symbols. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.